Hey everybody, welcome to Board Online, Board Offline. Today we've got our top 10 most played games of all time since 2014, July 2014 when I started keeping track of my plays. This is by individual plays. So a few months back I did the hours played. So, which games I've spent the most time playing, and I keep track of that using the BG Stats app. I highly recommend it. Not a sponsor. I just strongly recommend this app. It's amazing. I love it. It's so cool. It's got some different levels that you can purchase, either just the app, or you can download like the deep dive stats app or stats expansion for it or whatever. It's a really cool thing, and it's very inexpensive, and it's an invaluable resource for me keeping track of all this stuff. Plus, it's just cool. So anyway, that is my not sponsor thing that I recommend. Now let me mention our sponsor real quick, StoneValleyGames.com. This is your friendly, distant game store. They may have some of the very games on this list. If they do, there'll be links in the description below for you to check those out. They have all kinds of stuff. The old hotness, the new classics, the new hotness, the old classics, all that stuff. Go check them out. If you are a returning customer, they have a loyalty program. If you are in the continental United States, they will ship to you for free if you order $100 or more from them. And if you are in the United States military and you're stationed overseas with an AA, AE, or AP address, they'll ship to you for free as well. So go check them out, StoneValleyGames.com. There's a link in the description below. All right, so now real quick before we get into this top 10 list, I do want to mention that since I began keeping track of my plays, I have played 292 different games, 2,216 times, with a total of about 1,975 hours of playtime, which, how many days is that? I'm curious. Let's figure that out real quick. Something like 82 days of playtime. So a lot of great playtime here. Now my H index is 23, so that means I've played 23 games at least 23 different times. That's up 1 from last year. Also, to give you an idea of my increase in stats, I played 42 games over the course of the past year. Because this list, by the way, is as of December 31st, 2022. So all of last year I played 42 different games that I had not played previously, and I got a total of 265 plays in last year for 298 hours of playtime, and my H index increased by 1. It was 22 last year. So with all that being said, let's get into this list. We're going to start obviously with number 10 right now. All right, number 10 is Friday with 34 plays. I got 2 plays of it in last year. It actually has dropped 1. It was number 9 the previous year. Friday is a solo-only game where you are playing as Friday from the Robinson Crusoe story. And in this case, Robinson Crusoe is a moron. And there's actually a card that calls him a moron in the game. And you have to help him not die. And it's really a very kind of abstracted solo-only game. But when you confront a problem, whether it's just going back to the ship for supplies or fighting off wild animals or dealing with cannibals, if you defeat that challenge, you flip the card over, you turn it 180 degrees, and now it becomes an asset for you that goes into your deck and you're able to use it. And as you're going through, you'll go through the deck 3 times. Each time the challenges get a little bit harder to deal with. And you're putting aging cards into the deck as well as you get older. And then eventually at the end of the game, you have to fight 2 different sets of pirates, and hopefully you win. It's a really challenging game. You probably won't win. That's Friday. Number 9 is Sushi Go with 39 total plays. Now, I got 3 plays in last year. This was number 7 the previous year, so it's dropped 2. Sushi Go is a card drafting set collection game. So you have all these cute little sushis on these cards, and you have a hand of cards. You look at it, you pick the one you're going to keep, you pass the cards to the next player, and then everybody flips over their selection. And there's different types of sushi you can collect. Some of them are going to give you points every single time you collect one of those sushi. Others, you need to get 3 in order to get 20 points. If you don't get 3, you get 0 points. And then there's one where, or it's really a dessert, it's the pudding, I believe is what it is, where whoever has the most at the end of the game, so at the end of 3 rounds, whoever has the most will get 6 extra points. Whoever has the least is going to lose 6 points. The only way you can lose points in the entire game is by not having, or by having the least of that card. Pretty cool. That's Sushi Go. Number 8 is Pandemic Legacy Season 1 with 39 plays. This got 0 plays. Probably never get any plays again. I'll probably never play Season 1 again. I played it completely through twice. This was number 5 last year, so it's dropped 3 places. But this takes the pandemic system, puts a beautiful legacy coat over it, where all your decisions really matter. You're making permanent changes to the board. If your characters, first off, your characters can die. And if they do die, you rip up their card and you never use it again. Literally rip up the card. That's what the whole legacy thing's all about. This was one of the first legacy games to really show that not only could you have these kind of difficult decisions that have real lasting impacts, but also a really cool story built into it. That's Pandemic Legacy Season 1. Number 7 is Dead of Winter with 41 plays. I actually got 4 plays of this last year, which is pretty cool because it had kind of started to wane a little bit in terms of how often it came out. However, it did still drop 1 spot. It was number 6 the previous year. But Dead of Winter is a zombie game, zombie survival game. However, it very much takes the kind of the vein of like something like Walking Dead, where the zombies are part of the story, but not the story. The decisions you have to make, the choices that you're given. You have these crossroad cards that may or may not trigger on your turn, and they then will provide you with some sort of crossroads decision that you have to make. And it could be a really terrible decision, or really, or it could lead to terrible things, could lead to great things. It's hard to tell. But it's a really interesting system, and it's a great game, and it's been around for a long, long time, and it still holds up. I mean, it's not one that I'll pull off all the time. Obviously, I only got 4 plays over the past year, but it's one that I still enjoy playing, and my game group has recently discovered it, my new game group, and they've enjoyed it as well. Number 6 is Madara with 24 plays over the past year, 41 plays total. This came up from number 28 all the way to number 6. This is because this is what my game group and I are currently working through. We are tackling this campaign. I think we're halfway through the campaign right now, maybe somewhere like that. This is a anime style artwork, dice fest, but you're able to really build your characters from scratch. There's no archetypes in this game. You can create whatever kind of character you want in terms of the skills and everything. Completely clean slate when you play, and that's a really cool thing. So much gear, so many choices in terms of gear and skills and all that stuff. And then you're playing through a 500-page storybook that has so much story that, because my game group and I only meet twice a month, we use the Cliff Notes to read the story because it's just too much. I mean, literally, you could read 15 pages of story in some sections of the book if you don't use the Cliff Notes. But that is Madara. Number 5 is Gloomhaven with 53 plays, 26 plays over the past year, as I was pushing to try to beat it before Frosthaven came in. Didn't succeed. I'm about to get back into it, though. This is, of course, the predecessor to Frosthaven, a very thinky, dungeon crawl looking, but not necessarily dungeon crawl feeling game, where you start with a full hand of cards. All the cards that you're going to have for this scenario are in your hand, and you choose 2, top action 1, bottom action the other, rinse, repeat. Every time you run out of cards, you have to get rid of 1 for the entire game. And so when you run out of cards or life, you are unconscious and you're out of the scenario. Gloomhaven, by the way, was number 16 the previous year, so it came up lots of spaces. Number 4 is Splendor. Now, these top 4, I'll go and tell you, are unchanged. Number 4 is Splendor with 55 plays, got 1 play of it last year. This is my wife's, this is probably her favorite game. Maybe number 2 is her favorite game. one of these two is her favorite game of all time. We did get Splinter Duel. We've only played it once. We've kind of gotten sucked into watching. It doesn't matter what we're watching. But Splendor is engine building game where you have 3 rows of these kind of cards that you're going to be trying to buy. Some of them give you prestige. Some of them give you prestige. Some of them just help your engine run smoother. And as you're playing them, the goal is to get to 15 prestige. And if you get certain groups of them, then you'll attract nobles to come, and they add more prestige to your set as well, and hopefully get you that 15 prestige you need to win. That's Splendor. Number 3 with 58 plays, 3 plays over the past year is Pandemic. This is the game that really pushed cooperative games to the forefront of the industry. You have 4 diseases rampaging across the world. You are one of any number of different professions that's trying to stop it. Quarantine specialist, scientist, researcher, dispatcher, all these different people that have these cool powers that meld together in different ways. Lots of cool synergies you can come up with. And that is Pandemic. Number 2 with 72 plays but 0 plays over the past year is Star Realms. This so it's either this one or Splendor. That's my wife's favorite game. But Star Realms is a lot of fun, but we clearly played the holy hell out of it. And so it just hasn't come back out recently. You have a row of cards in front of you. It's a deck builder where both players start with the exact same deck or hand of cards or deck of cards. And you are trying not to sneeze here. You have a row of cards that you buy from, and then as you play the cards, you're trying to whittle down the other person's authority, which authority is their health. There's 4 different factions in the game that will come out in that row of cards, and you're trying to buy the ones you need before the opposite player buys them, away from you. And some of them are going to let you pare down your deck. Some of them are going to deal heavy damage to their players. Some of them are going to heal you. And I can't remember what the other one does. Make the other player discard. And man, I love going discard heavy because it is so annoying to the other player when you leave them with just one card in their hand to play for the turn. But that's Star Realms. And then number 1, as many of you who watch the channel frequently may have guessed, is Kingdom Death Monster with 98 plays. 5 plays over the past year. That would have been at the beginning of the year, right before my group, my game group, got TPK'd completely out of the campaign we were playing. Kingdom Death Monster, in my mind, I think this is accurate, the original Boss Battler board game where every match, instead of just a few heroes fighting a swarm of bad guys, you have 4 heroes fighting 1 bad guy. And that bad guy is terrifying and a horrific monster who can do all kinds of horrible, permanent damage to your body. Broken bones, disembowelment, ripping heads off. Just crazy stuff. But you can do it back to him. And every time you damage that monster, you then cause it to lose an AI card, which the AI cards are how it does. Those are the things that tell you what the monster is going to do to you. So every time you damage it, you take one of those off and you put it in the wound stack. And that means that AI card is gone. It can't do that to you anymore. And so as you wound it, it slowly becomes less and less threatening. And then eventually you're able to kill it. Of course, there's all kinds of twists on that. Some of the enemies, their AI cards stick around no matter what. Some of them have, it's just all kinds of changes, different types of enemies. The main campaign, I think, has 3 quarries and 4 nemesis monsters, something like that. And it takes place over the course of 30 Lanterneers. Each Lanterneer generally culminates in a single fight. It is really an experience very unlike any that I had prior to Aeon Trespass Odyssey, which is a very similar experience and feels like maybe it's built off of it. But Kingdom Death Monster is coming out with the Gambler's Chess expansion, which has rules for Advanced Kingdom Death. That's coming out later this year. It's been later this year for the past like 3 years, so we'll see. Hopefully that shows up. Anyway, that's my top 10 list. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Also, be sure to check out, we've got How to Play Frosthaven Part 2 coming up soon. We've got How to Play Perdition's Mouth Part 3. That'll be the final video in that series. How to Play Australia, and How to Play 1815 Scum of the Earth. Come check all that out, and until next time, if you're bored online, board offline.